Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 2 of this Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 as France. In the last episode, we talked mostly about how to set up the economy and kind of the initial moves, and we are going to continue doing that. The first thing that we need to do is start organising our forces a little better. Currently, they are just spread out all over the country, and we need to have a little bit better layout, I think. So who are our most likely enemies? Italy, Germany, Spain. Although at this moment it's Republican Spain, so actually Spain isn't, but I'm still going to fortify that border a little. Anyway, down here you can see this kind of grayed out figure. That is armies, so that allows you to create the army. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create our Maginot Line army. I'm going to do that by selecting the units here on the Maginot Line. That's you lot, and you, and you. And then we're going to click on this. And now we have got an army of 18 troops. It shows you all the troops in that army. And if we click on here, it shows us the different leaders that are available. There are two different types of leaders, generals and field marshals. Generals are smaller scale. You can have a maximum of 24 divisions for them. So we're currently at 18, so we could only get another 6 if we went with one of these three, including Charles de Gaulle. Right. Kind of a famous dude there. Or you can get a field marshal, which has no limit, but they gain experience more slowly, I believe. And these are all old guard. They have different traits. So I think the general traits tend to be more specialized, while the field marshal are more general. So, for example, Charles de Gaulle has the Panzer Leader trait, which gives him faster armor and armor attack is better. So if we had a unit of just tanks, we probably want to give them to Charles de Gaulle. We might actually want to do that, you know. Because we do have a couple of tanks here. No, we'll leave it for the time being. So this frontline guy will probably be one of the field marshals because I can see this border growing quite a lot over time. So the abilities here, we have level 3. That gives 5% per level. Yeah, it's always the same even for generals. And he also has defensive doctrine, plus 30% entrenchment, and on guard, which is less experience gain but more max entrenchment. So these guys are defensive masters basically, so we definitely want them in a position to hold the line. So I think we're going to give Alphonse Georges here command of the Maginot Line, and we can tell him that is precisely what he command by clicking on the border between us and Germany, and you can see this kind of stripy line. That means that is a defensive boundary, and as soon as we unpause the game, these guys will march over here and make sure that they have that area fortified. I think we are then going to select these guys up here, probably that. New army. We'll have you positioned on the Belgian line over here. Can I add? How do I add? Yeah, so I've just added Luxembourg to this line, so, oh no, no I haven't. Trash that. What? Right, let's try that again. Front line, right click. That's not working. No, don't do that either. No, don't do, ah! Okay, this is where you kind of see my noobishness of this game still. Oh, I see, so I can do, no, that work? How do I just cancel this front line? Let's just do that, so it's just there. Why is that still there? Right, how do I disband this army? No, I don't want to disband all the units. There we go. Disband army. Right, let's try that again. New army. Front line here. I want this front line. Expand. No, do that. That front line to expand to there. That do it? No, that did not do it. Right click and drag to edit this defensive line. Oh, it's only allowing me to make it bigger or... What? Ah! Well, hopefully something will defend that point. We'll see. Because I can't seem to get this guy to do it. Right, then you will be the second guy, which I'm going to make this guy that commander. And then finally, down here... Oh no, I have another border here I need to defend. We'll just grab you lot. New border. Hold that front line. And you can have that guy. Yes. And they can have that guy. And then this army here. New army. Defend. Spanish border. And you can have... that guy. There we are. Alright, so that's all of our borders now defended, and you can see the different colours here by each unit that corresponds to which troop they are. I'm going to edit the name of this theatre just to call it France, and then this is basically how you can organise your armies very quickly. Actually, it's quite a good system. So now we've got all of that done, so we may want to come down here to Algeria. We'll grab our Algerian armies and we'll make a new army. We will also create a new theatre, and they'll drop down into that theatre, and this we will call Africa. And currently you can see the African army is this purple one here, and all those units are attached. For Africa, we are not going to create just a front line. We want something a little more generalized. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of you lot. How do I attach you? These are... Alright, just right click on there and then they're added. Okay, that was easy. We are going to garrison this area, which is slightly different. So garrisoning basically means that they will hold these regions, particularly any victory points in question. So we are going to do this. And you guys are going to hold the whole of Africa. Good luck with that. Enjoy. I'm not going to assign a commander to you because I'm not expecting you to have to fight very hard. You would be much the same. Your job is to garrison Madagascar, that, and that. Okay, that's you done. And then over here, we're going to have Southeast Asia, which will be yet another army in a new theatre, which we will call SE Asia. And this way we can jump around between our armies more quickly, and likewise I'm just going to have you guys garrison that area. Marvellous! Okay. And then finally I think there was, oh no, we've got Syria, quite an important spot. We'll call this Middle East. And your job is to garrison Syria and Israel. Cool. And then finally, last but not least, we have the Americas, which has no troops over here. So never mind, I'm not going to bother. America is responsible for that when we join the war. It's unlikely that Germany and Italy will make it over there unless something catastrophically bad's happened. Right, so that is most of that organised. We do have a bunch of troops which are not assigned as yet. I'm going to let these guys move into position. Am I? No, I'm going to assign them now. So all I need to do is select the units and then right click on who I want them assigned to. And off they will go. There is one more thing I should probably do. I will assign you lot to the Maginot Line. That's that one. Or do I want you? Yeah, that's fine. And then you. And you. New army. Your job is to garrison the coast. So what these guys will do is they will occupy the ports over here just to make sure that we don't get an amphibious assault from the nefarious Brits. And I think that's fine. Okay, so that is all of that assigned. Do we have anyone here in Corsica? No, we don't. Never mind. Do I want anyone in Corsica? No, I don't think I do. Actually, speaking of garrisons, we will need this border garrisoned. Just in case the Italians do try an amphibious assault. They might, you never know. Garrisoning is also very, very useful when you have conquered an area and you need to leave people behind to suppress dissenters. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is start deciding what troops we want to have begin training. So we probably do want to start a bunch of infantry coming up, so we can just use these guys to hold the line. We will have you train 3 of them at a time infinitely, so they'll just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Not setting a location, so we can just drop them as and when we want. No, I'll put them in Bourgogne. Okay, cool. So those guys are just going to keep on training, and we will see here in the production that suddenly we need a ton more infantry equipment. But don't worry, like as factories and stuff get built, we will start producing more, and that deficit will drop very, very quickly actually. We probably also want some tanks. I think we'll start training 2 of those at a time. We'll do 4 of those at a time. That's probably fine. And also we want some colonial troops for our African holdings. We'll do 2 of those at a time. I think that's just fine. So tanks can go Ile-de-France. What's that? Did I click on it or did I click on something else? I clicked on something else. You start in Ile-de-France, and then colonial troops will have to start here in southern France or going along the dock. And from there we can just shift them over to the garrison. The cool thing about that is as soon as you shift them over to one of these armies, they'll automatically convoy over and you don't need to worry about any of that stuff, which is pretty cool. The next thing I want to do is grab all of my navies from everywhere in the world, I think. And I'm going to bring them all home to France, in the Mediterranean in particular. Is there any way of selecting all of them? Yes, there is. So I'm just holding down Shift, and then I'm going to right click on Toulon here, Toulouse, and off they go. So that's all those fleets going in. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disband all of my air wings. And no, that is not as bad as it sounds. That is just the organization that is currently in place. I want to modify that for myself. Just close these as we go. This is basically showing all of the air bases and then their total capacity of aircraft that they can have. Now the French Air Force is actually quite small and kind of pathetic at the start of the game. So this is something that we will absolutely need to build up. I am going to start by putting some aircraft here in Provence. So we're going to click here on the build air wing and we're going to choose what kind of aircraft we're going to move across. Now we are not going to build many of these low-level planes because we can get something much better. So we'll research them first and then we'll start building them in earnest. We probably want 200 planes here. And yeah, so start out with 200, then if we actually click on that, oh, we have to actually wait for it to be deployed. Never mind. Ooh, that's how you do carriers. Interesting. Alright, so both those carrier wings can go onto the carrier. You can see it's a carrier because there's that little icon there, which I've never seen before. Italy doesn't do carriers. Okay, so Provence has the fighters. We also want some bombers here, and probably all the naval bombers actually. So we'll just press that little arrow next to it, which is the entire reserve. So all the planes that you have here are in reserve. So they've been stockpiled in some warehouse somewhere, and then you're basically saying you guys need to go there, you guys need to go over there, and then they just shift around like that. So they will take a couple of days to shift from the reserves, but after that they will be in place and good to go. Oh, those are pre-war tactical bombers and then actual. So we have an okay number of tactical bombers actually. Move 60. to there. So Provence is getting a bunch of aircraft. That should be fine. And then next we probably want Alsace. Alsace, fine. To also get some, we will just send you everything else. Right. Not stationing any over the English Channel. It's very easy to move them afterwards, though. That should not be a problem at all. Anyway, I think that we are about ready to unpause. I'm just thinking for a moment, are we? One more thing I probably do want to start training is just a couple more of these. So we'll do 2 sets, so that's 4 more Alpine infantry, just to hold this line a little better. We'll go for 3 against the Italians, because I don't want to have to worry about them while I'm fighting off Germany. Alright, cool. Hit that spacebar, start moving this up, and then suddenly you can see all the troops beginning to shift into position. All of that is nicely automated by the AI, so we've basically assigned these guys AI control over those armies, and they start to move. Why aren't they moving? There's one other thing we need to do. So because these guys are really quite far back, the AI doesn't know where to assign them, and that's what this exclamation mark here means. So what we need to do is go over here and then control left click to tell the AI these guys should be on this front over there. And likewise we'll go on the orange and we'll say assign everyone to that front, purple, assign everyone to that front, and then, oh no. Yeah, that was right. And you guys to that front. Okay. And now they should all start moving. Now this like fence light thing, that's actually a railway, and that's a strategic move. So you will notice here, their green bar, that is organization, has gone right down, but they're moving much, much more quickly across the country. So there's regular move, which is slow and doesn't affect their organization. Not sure if it affects it at all or just very, very little. And then strategic move, which means that they are completely unable to do anything for a short time afterwards. Why is there a purple over here? Oh, he wasn't. He was actually over there. And they are defending that Luxembourg front. Good. Happy about that. Okay, so all of our ships are beginning to appear here in this port. Is there actually a maximum capacity for this port? It's a level 10 naval base. Not going to tell me. Is that all the navies? What we can do is merge them all together. And then click on this and we will see. We have one more fleet still on the way. Heavy and a light cruiser. Okay, cool. And there they are. Right, so we have got 1 carrier, 3 battleships, 7 heavy cruisers, 7 light cruisers, 52 destroyers and 57 submarines. So we're going to click here on create new fleet and we are going to split out all the submarines. So the submarines are going to be their own fleet. We'll select them and we will send you off to Corsica, sure, why not? That can be your base. And we will assign a commander. So we want someone here who is good at spotting and submarine attack. So if we had spotting and submarine attack, that would be fantastic. But no, it looks like it's going to be Admiral Jean-Pierre Esteva, who is our submarine commander. And we're going to just leave him in command of all of them. And we will try and surround Italy to starve them of any trade. Though it's not going to be like the UK where you can actually starve them, because they'll still have land routes, particularly between like Germany and Italy, and you'll need to block that with troops rather than ships, but that's fine. We'll let those ships move away. Off they go. You can actually see them there on the map. And then we have this group here. Now, do we want to split these guys out at all? Right, do we have any Red Sea or stuff over there? Africa, Southeast Asia. We probably do want... I'm trying to think if we want any ships abroad or whether we should just split them off as and when they are needed abroad. I think I'm just going to leave them here for the time being. So we're just going to have this one huge navy. That's fine. And we will give you a commander as well. So we have got 2 level 3 guys. We don't want the old guard because you get the experience penalty. So it's going to be Jean-Marie Charles Abiriel or Francois Dolan. You. Cool. So that is all of that. Still telling us about insufficient resources, but so be it. And now we are just constructing things and letting time pass. You can see this now ticking up, so we're getting that reform, which will be lovely. And then we can start focusing on the industry once again and really ramping up production here in France. Some historians actually believe that the industrial capacity of France exceeded that of Germany. They just didn't apply them as well. So hopefully we can, and then we can hold the line until our allies come in. It's unlikely we'll be able to push back very hard, but we can certainly hold. At least that's the plan. Maybe we'll invade Italy, a bit more coastline to build up a fleet. Then after that go after the UK. Or America if they're still neutral. So what else do we have to look at? So this is showing the total factories, kind of useful. Manpower. Manpower is initially quite small, actually 296,000. That's very limited. However, we can increase the amount of manpower we get by instituting different types of conscription. So scraping the barrel would cost 600 political power to get. I think it's actually changed depending on how close you are to the next one, which is why volunteer and extensive conscription are both cheap, while disarmed nation service by requirement are more expensive, and then all adults and scraping the barrel even more so. So what are the penalties? So we currently have 2.5% of the population recruitable. That goes down to 1.5. Oh, I see. So the US cannot change from volunteer only because they have undisturbed isolation. Once that's gone, however, if it goes, then they can change, I guess. Cool. So yeah, hopefully this disjointed government goes away once we've got the government reform. We'll see. Speaking of, actually, just while we're here, we can have a look around. Is there anything which increases our national unity? Yes. And we probably want to increase national unity because right now it is 30%, which is pathetic. That means that for us to be conquered, we need to lose just 30% of our victory points. So like Nancy here is worth 5. Rheims, 5. Paris, 50. 5, 5. So basically if Paris falls, then the whole of France is gone. While if we were fighting against Germany, which probably has a national unity of like 90 or even 100, we would need to conquer 90% of Germany for it to fall. So France capitulates very, very easily unless you actually put some effort into enhancing their national unity and building things up. Anyway, we are just waiting for things to happen, so I'm going to speed up time a little until this national idea is done. We also can start thinking about how we want to do this. So yeah, you need a location. You're definitely going to be in Savoy. So how does this production work? Well, basically, they are sent the materials and the manpower, and then they start training. So once this bar has gone up, then this bar starts going up. Once this bar is finished, then that unit is ready. You can field a unit when this bar is done, this bar isn't. However, they are then green troops rather than trained troops, and that will require some training of its own. Actually, speaking of training, let's have a look at the quality of our troops. So the entirety of this cyan thing, you can see here by the icons, is actually trained or regular. You can get up to trained maximum, and regular, wow, 25% modifier in combat, nice. I think you just get through experience. The French army is actually pretty well trained. The Italian army has a bunch of green troops. Huh, interesting. So you can see the clover there, that means they are green, and they get a penalty in combat because they have not had any training. So I am somewhat tempted to split these two out and add them to this group temporarily and just have them exercising, and that would up them to being trained. So yes, I think I am actually going to do that. So I'm going to hold down shift, I'm going to select you two, and then right click on that. No, wrong way around, damn it. You. Oh, I see. I had all of them selected. Rather than... okay. Drop you back into there. Select you two. Drop you into there. You three. Exercise. Now, exercising reduces all of their stats to more or less zero, so they are extremely vulnerable while they're exercising. They also cost manpower and equipment as they are training. Accidental deaths. There aren't many of them, but it does happen, and then just equipment. Because it costs ammunition and the like to train them. However, this little yellow bar here, that is their experience bar, will slowly but surely tick up. Actually, I'm going to stop their training until these guys have arrived in Madagascar to get their training. So you can see this guy is currently hoofing all the way across Africa to get to this port, and then from that port they can convoy over to Madagascar. Once they're all there, they can start training. I'll train them all together and do it that way. Right. National focus completed. We have got our government reform. Lovely. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. Several German divisions recently advanced in the Rhineland, marking the first time since the end of the Great War that Germany has forces positioned west of the Rhine. This is in clear violation of the Versailles Treaty, under which Germany is forbidden from militarizing the region. Unless we issue an ultimatum demanding their withdrawal, the treaty will not be enforced. So we can choose that this is an act of war. We will have a civil war because we're disjointed with the communists. So, yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea. Or we can issue a diplomatic objection. Britain gets much the same, and Germany likes us less. I like that that's an option, though. Gain base unity -10. We'd have only 20% base unity. That's ridiculous. Nope. The remilitarization of the Rhineland. Germany has stationed troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border. In clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles, the local population cheered the German soldiers on, while the diplomatic reactions from France and Britain have so far been muted. It is no more than the Germans walking into their backyard, a political commentator from Britain observed. The Rhineland is this area here. So it really is right on our doorstep. Oh, and we have a new national focus that we can set. So, we have got this government reform. Now, did that change our... No, it didn't. Huh. Well, that's somewhat annoying. Oh, there it is. Remove national spirit, disjointed government. Okay, that is a long way down this line. Had I known that, I would have gone straight for these. What was the other one? Because we have two negatives, don't we? Just the one. Oh no, the victors of the Great War. Land doctrine research time. Oh, shoot. Stop. I really wish it was more obvious when it was paused and when it wasn't. I've noticed various other Let's Players also having problems with that. Thinking it's paused, but it in fact isn't. So we've just lost probably a couple of days of getting this focus. There we go. Army reform. Remove national spirit. Victors of the Great War. And yeah, that allows us... That gives us quite hefty bonuses to land doctrine, actually. So we will need to go down this line at some point in order to get that. But no, right now, metropolitan France. Oh, it actually carried over. Okay, that's good. And we have some free dockyards, so I'm going to guess that the submarine finished. It did! Okay, cool. So we have got 5 dockyards free. And we are going to give them all to this destroyer. And we'll get these destroyers pumped out and done. And then we'll work on the battleship and light cruiser until those are done. Then we'll probably start pumping out regular cruisers. As we seem to have the best technology in that. As it was. Yeah. Not actually sure what the difference between them is. And the different factions have different build trees here, I think. So, I'm not sure. I think Italy might even have had 3. Could be wrong. Right, so we have got electronic mechanical engineering, which has reduced our research time. And now you can also see that everything is divided by date. So if I wanted to start researching decimetric radar, if I were actually able, it is 1.73 years ahead of time, and it would have a huge time penalty. So it takes 436 days to research, as opposed to 140 for everything else of that level. Oh no, mechanical computing isn't. And actually, looking at these, we probably do want mechanical computing because it also increases research time. Sorry, decreases research time. So we're getting a better bonus. Oh, and because we have export focus, we actually get another 5%. That's really nice. I had not realized that. Cool. Because Italy has a more limited trading policy, so their research is somewhat reduced, although they do have the extra slot over us. So we definitely need to climb down that path as quickly as possible to hit that research slot. Anyway, that is it for this episode. I do hope that you're enjoying this Let's Play, as France, I think, is going to be something a bit different. Not many other people seem to have been trying as these guys. I guess it's a bit intimidating considering how well they actually did in the war. I do hope that you will continue to join me in the future, and I'll catch you next time.